the shaft of the spatula almost a vertical angle, and now the spatula have no frictional force. They only have van der Waals, which is this force here, and which is the very minimum force, and then it is easy to pick off the foot off of the surface. I wanted to give you another look at the geometry involved. I know this is a very confusing picture, but I just wanted you to see. Right here is the shaft, and here the spatula shaft, and the spatula on the end here. Over here on the right, you've got one single spatula, and you've got the width of it and how it's sticking along the surface, and then you've got the shaft down here. And this is when the foot is engaged, so there will be a little bit of force coming out here, and the gecko foot is sticking to the wall. As I was talking about earlier, friction plays a large role in how the gecko foot sticks. Here's just some of the forces. I don't want to spend too much in depth. I don't want to go too much in depth on this because it's just kind of a summation of how they get the forces. You've got the normal force and the lateral force, and when it is not at 90 degrees, then that is only when the normal force will be acting, and when this is at 0 degrees, only the lateral force will be acting. So theta plays an important role in friction and engaging the spatula. This is a very good comprehensive look at the normal forces and the lateral forces and how they play a key role in the attachment of the gecko foot. Over here, for the normal force at 0 degrees, this is when the gecko foot has been engaged, and as you can see up at the top here, the force is highest with the frictional force, and that is when the spatula are scraping along the edge. That is when the most normal force is produced. And van der Waals down here is not playing too key of a role. But as we go back up to 90 degrees, the van der Waals is actually the key player in producing the most normal force. Let's look down here at the lateral force, and as you can see, just by the scale, that the lateral force plays so much of a bigger role in how much the gecko is actually sticking to the wall and how much force it is able to withstand. Down at 0 degrees, so the gecko is holding on now and is pulling horizontal to the surface. That is when the most frictional force is produced by the spatula. And as we go down all the way to 90 degrees, friction has almost no role in playing any forces, and the van der Waals is again the dominant force. And so at 90 degrees is when the force is the least. So the main message I want you to get from this slide is that the lateral force is a lot bigger than the normal force, especially when it's engaged. And this essentially is controllable adhesion. due to the amazing structure of the gecko hairs, it also has an amazing ability to self-clean itself. What am I talking about? Well, as the gecko steps onto a clean surface like glass, say, the dirt particles actually start to come off, and the gecko starts to regain some of its sticking ability. As you can see, I'll explain this graph. Here is the max clean that a gecko can have. And here is what it looks like when, this is how strong a gecko's foot is when it's really dirty. And this dotted line is the amount of force it takes for a gecko to hang on to anything with just a single toe. So, and here are the number of steps that a gecko takes on clean glass. And you can see that the amount of force that the gecko has is actually increasing as it takes more steps along the clean glass. Here's another look at an electron photograph of the dirt before and after it starts taking a walk. And there's dirt everywhere on this first photograph, and there's a clear difference in the second one. After just taking 5 steps, you can already see that a lot of the dirt has come off. But why is this? Why is this happening? Well, it has to do with the structure of the spatula. And here's a picture of the dirt particle and the spatula and the substrate. And as it turns out, that the actual force that is required for the spatula to hang on to it is a lot less or a lot more than what it takes to stick to a wall. So basically all I'm saying is that the particle is more likely to stick to, say, a clean wall than to stick to the really small ends of a spatula. And that is where this cleaning property, that is what this is about. And that's why it can self-clean itself after walking along clean glass or other clean substrates.